welcome back to my channel, and if this is your first time coming, welcome. I'm gonna try and do this very quickly because one, I have things to do, I gotta go to work. Two, nothing really interested happened this week. Like, it's just been the same thing over and over with a lot of these couples. And let's start off with a couple that you just see the same thing over and over with them. Let's start off talking about Paula and Russ. So Paula decides that before she goes to her baby shower that Russ's family is throwing for her, she is gonna get her nails done. And she's gonna get her friend to come with her and get her nails done because she needs someone to be there for her when she's preparing for battle, I guess, or some crap like that. So she goes in, gets her nail done, and apparently this nail appointment lasts like 2 hours because Russ and his family is there waiting for her to get to the party because Russ wanted to wait for her to get to the party, then he leaves and go golfing with the other men. But it took her 2 hours, and when she finally shows up, the next thing they're gonna be doing is opening gifts. And according to Russ's family, most of the people already left the baby shower. A lot of people had things that they wanted to do. They had to go to work. They had to go other places. So they opened the gifts. Yeah, she's having a good time opening gifts, but then she starts seeing like everyone doesn't seem up to par with her standards, the way they're acting towards her. And soon after they open gifts, people started leaving because they've been there now for like 4 hours waiting for her to come, and she finally came and opened gifts, and that's it. Now she feels like everyone leaving after she was opening gifts is just make it seem like she just came for gifts and that's it, and she felt like they weren't being very nice to her, to the fact that they were leaving her baby shower that they did not plan to spend that long at. So she's basically making a problem out of nothing. She's really trying so hard. Sorry for that noise, there's something going on outside the window, but they're really trying so hard to stay on this show. It's so annoying. I really can't stand Paula. Nothing she's complaining about is worth complaining about. You showed up late, you were the one disrespecting your guests, so you shouldn't have any say in them leaving early because they realized that you didn't care about them, so why should they care about you? And I'm telling you, from the jump, I always see like Paula has just created so much drama around nothing, and I don't see Russ's family going out of their way trying to make her life a living hell. They're just a real conservative family who don't want to see her walking around scantily clad in their house. Like, if you know that that's how they are, you just cover up a little bit more when you're around them, and then when you're not around them, seeing that you're trying to live away from them, you dress however you want to dress. And even if you live in Oklahoma and you're not in their house, I don't think they're gonna really have a say in what you wear. So it doesn't matter if you live in Oklahoma or Miami or wherever. On to the next one. Nicole should be the second one we talk about because I don't understand what Nicole's frame of mind is. Like, I don't understand how she can still be so into Azan, even though like everything have shown that she should like give him a little bit of space because this guy is really not into you. And she goes shopping and she brought little May, and you can tell like little May, like, she's a helpful child, but she does not care one bit what her mom has to say to her. She's like, oh, no hot dogs, because Nicole is trying to eat healthy because she's trying to lose some weight before she go on vacation with Azan. And she tells little May not to pick up any hot dog. Little May is just like, bye. Drops the hot dog in her cart and kept it moving. But she goes to meet up with her family because it's little May's birthday and they're celebrating. And her family confronted her. They're like, so what's really going on with your relationship? Why are you back here? You were supposed to get married to Hazan and move there since he can't move here, but you're here. And she explained to them that, you know, based off the 90-day policy, she had to come back because they didn't get married. Well, why didn't you get married, Nicole? And she goes on a whole thing talking about, well, it was so expensive and blah, blah, blah. So the family asked her the question we've been asking her. If it's the money, then why don't you just do like a justice of the peace type thing? Why do you have to have a big wedding? You could just get married and have a small ceremony with just your family or whoever. And it didn't have to cost $300 a table. Like, as I said, like, I don't see the reason why your marriage have to cost $300 a table if you can't afford it. Makes no sense. Nicole's dad is also going to Grenada with her to meet Azan for the first time. So we should see how that turned out. So now we've arrived at Elizabeth and Andre. And the problem I have with Elizabeth in this episode is that she doesn't have the power of hindsight or the power of foresight. It seems like she doesn't realize what she's doing at all. Because here she is, she's gonna have a conversation with her father about him getting involved in their relationship, in their whole life. And he's saying, well, I don't like the way that I see your life going. You're in this relationship with this man, you are married, now you're expecting a child, but he's not gearing up to provide for the child. The things that I've tried to do for you does not seem like it's beneficial to you because you don't seem to appreciate anything that I've done. And what's good with that? But no, Elizabeth has a problem with what her father says because her father is not wrong. Is in one way. It's one thing to say he needs to back off a little bit in their relationship. However, what he's saying about Andre isn't wrong. He's been in the country for quite some time. He has all the paperwork that he needs to get a job, but yet he's still not trying to get a job. And the dad just want to see some sort of effort from him because he doesn't want to see his daughter in a situation where her husband is not trying to do anything to provide for her. So she goes and she talks to her husband after she talks to her dad, but really her conversation with her dad was sort of disrespectful. I understand everything that she's going through and whatever, but come on. He's trying to help you and you're basically saying, you can help me, but you shouldn't do anything else. And then you think about it, you're like, well, she's saying that her dad is using this and giving her this gift as a way to have power over them. And while I do see him trying to use that as an excuse to get involved in their life, it still seemed like a father who's just trying to do the best for his daughter. So she goes and she talks to Andre about everything that happened, and he gets all up in his feelings and he's like, we're gonna move out right now. We shouldn't stay here because I knew he was going to do that. He was gonna try to make this thing about the fact that he's helping us, and Andre is just saying things because he's not thinking it through. And Elizabeth hit him with but we don't have the money to put down on an apartment right now. We don't have the money to put a down payment for a house, and we're gonna need a house. I'm carrying a baby. Like, that's the moment she actually starts thinking about everything that her father is doing. That's the moment she's trying to see, oh, well, maybe my father is not that wrong about the situation because Andre doesn't seem to be thinking about any of this. He just know how to complain when he wants to complain and not when he thinks things through. Colt and Larissa. Colt was Colt. It did like nothing but say, I'm just staying home because I don't want to incriminate my wife in court. So we all saw that last week where he stayed home from court. And now Larissa is super excited that she didn't go to jail. And she's thankful to Debbie that Debbie was there for her and brought her there. And I'm just like, you're thankful to Debbie now. Just you wait until a few days later, because Debbie sneaky snake. Debbie there like, yeah, you can thank me all you want now, but I know who you are, Larissa. I know you'll turn on me like that. Okay? Debbie knows. And she knows that Debbie knows. But that's basically it with them. Jay and Ashley. Well, Ashley went to get her hair done. She got extensions. She claimed for the first time, but I could swear she had extensions in the season before. I don't know when they shot the confessions, because all the confessions she've had like some sort of extension. I guess this was before the reunion episode of 90 Day Fiance last season, because that time she wore extensions to the reunion. So I guess this was prior to her going on the reunion episode. And that's how she's like, oh, I'm getting extensions for the first time. I've been talking about extensions for way too long. But she's excited about getting extensions for the first time. And then we see that she's going on a date with her ex-boyfriend. Like, they're really doing anything to create drama. And the ex-boyfriend is just like, well, she has a bad track record of picking men, so why should this be any different, her marrying Jay? And I'm just like, ugh, so over this. So she comes home and Jay is just annoyed because it's like, why are you going on a date with some guy that I don't know? And they argue like every other episode. And finally, Chantel and Pedro. Chantel is still upset about the fight between her brother and Pedro, or should I say the whole family and Pedro, because that was what happened. And she goes on a double date with one of her friends who also have a husband from the Dominican Republic, and she started asking questions to try and see if they can relate on some sort of level when it comes to their family life and how their family responds to her husband. And she basically just start telling them the whole story of what happened and the fact that he didn't go to Thanksgiving. And they're just like, well, see, there's gonna be trouble in your life. They're trying so hard not to get involved in their specific relationship issues, but Chantel is there and she just want to vent and throw all the blame onto Pedro, like always, and not thinking about her family and how crazy her family are. And she completely just like saying, well, if that was the problem, you shouldn't have done this, you shouldn't have did this, and blah blah blah. Just the same thing we've been hearing over and over about the fight between Pedro and her mom and her brother and her whole family. And when we thought that the Thanksgiving episode was basically her realizing that, hey, my family is really bad crap crazy, maybe Pedro wasn't so wrong, but here she is complaining about the same thing and blaming Pedro again. And what did we see? What did we learn from this episode? We learned that Pedro's sister Nicole is just extremely glad that Chantel will not be coming with Pedro to the Dominican Republic. But I feel like Pedro thinks that Chantel is not going to the Dominican Republic with him. But like Mama Karen said last week, in last week's episode, they can show up. They got passports. So I think Pedro is gonna go, and somehow the whole family Chantel is gonna show up and surprise him. Here we go again. We're back in the Dominican Republic with these two families who hate each other. These families who hate each other, can't stand each other. And why? Guess they crazy. Thanks again for watching this video. Don't forget to hit that like button and that subscribe button. And yeah, stick around. Maybe watch some of my other videos from 90 Day Fiance. Some of my other reviews. I don't know. It's up to you. Do what you like. Do what you love. Do what you love. Do what you love.